Welcome to the awesome. I'm Big Roy, and this is the Strikeforce Master Lunch Podcast. Here's my co-host, Chewburger84.
Thank you very much, Roy. How are you this fine week?
I'm doing awesome. How about yourself?
Mate, when it rains, it pours, as they say. So I can't talk much about it at the moment, but I thought life was pretty chaotic before the last couple of days. But yeah, I've got yet another life-changing decision to make over the next month or so. So yeah, man. Stay tuned. I'll talk about it. Maybe nothing changes. Maybe everything changes. We'll wait and see. So that's the teaser trailer for Chewburger's Real Life coming to a reality show network near you.
Yes.
Can you imagine that show? It'd just be like people watching me like eat McDonald's on my toilet. It would not be pretty.
On your toilet.
It's efficient, right?
Yes.
You know what's going to happen after you eat that. You watch it. McDonald's reaches out, just going, "Look, we want to like support some small time creators. We listen to your show, we love it. They sponsor us like next episode. It's just literally McDonald's. It will give you diarrhea." So
Nice.
that's it. I don't think there's any better segue than that, folks, to remind you this is indeed the Strikeforce Masters of Launch podcast. It is a weekly podcast for fans of Marvel and fans of people of the Marvel Strikeforce game. We bring this out to you every single week, and we're able to do that because you, the awesome community, keeps listening, you keep sharing it with your friends, keep doing those things. And we also have some people support the show a little bit more. So if you'd like to have your questions read out live on the show every week, make sure you head on over to our Discord page, Strikeforce Masters of Launch, and you can submit those in the on-air question section. Any issues getting in there, just message me directly at Chewburger84. And we also have, Roy, an absolute just legion of rock stars now. I feel like every week I say this because I do say it every week. Good God, we have been feeling the love recently. Like, you guys have just been exceptional with the way you guys have been supporting the show. So if you'd like to support the show, you have a couple extra dollars in that back pocket. You can head on over to patreon.com/SFMOL, and we have subscriptions starting off from $1. Most of the things like looking at the videos or the strategy things that we put up early access for those guys, that is locked behind the Apprentice and above. But most of that will end up coming out on YouTube in the long run anyway. We just like to look after those that look after us first. You can cut up with live chats with us. Your questions get prioritized, blah, 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 blah. It's all on the site. Go over there. I won't chill too hard this week. So first of all, a massive shout out to those people that either subscribed this week or upped their subscription. So to Metalhead upgrading to Journeyman, thank you very much. The Lazy James is back again, my friend. He was a supporter of the show for quite a while, and now he is back as a master once more. To Matt Bloody as an apprentice, to Uthred as a journeyman. Maseo is now joined our tier of the elites, which we'll come back to shortly. So we still don't know what we're going to call this. So what I'm doing, Roy, is letting those guys decide their own names on a weekly basis. So we'll come back to that. So for now, we're just going to call him Sith Lord or Grandmaster, whatever. He said Sith Lord is what he likes, so we'll see.
All right. We can go with that.
Sumo sign up as a master, Sunny C as a supporter, K-Lord94 as an apprentice, and Abyssarium as a journeyman. So thank you to all of you new guys this week. It's a pleasure to have you aboard, and hopefully we've got you in the voice chat after the end of this show. So to all of our journeymen and masters, we always give them a shout out on a weekly basis, Roy, and our apprentices and supporters at the start of every month. So starting off with Mr. 100 Calvin, he was our 100th Patreon, so thank you again for sticking with us. To our journeyman Roy, to Andrew, X23, Beer God Mookie, The Dawkins, Justin Beard, Paul Puck, Irish Avenger, Scooter, Yule, Chilbo Swaggins, Cravino, Tickenarthur, Dun and Dun, Real East, Lemon Russ, Big Spartan 34, Bo Slayer, Legriv, Cheetah, Hobbs, Hamdeezus, Domino, Alan G, Morphine Dream, Grimnos, Benicus, Captain Hammer, Michael L, Metalhead, Uthred, and Abyssarium. Thank you to all of you. To the Masters, JW Sen, Della, Maseo Bart, Liquid Cool, Dragus, Assassin Avenue, Judas. Actually, I need to take out Dragus. He's in there twice. That's how good he is. Moon, Folpsy, Schmalpsy, Kane, Sparks, Jackie, 246, J Shriver 138, Benicus, Tuggernuts, Commander Iceman, Shalasta, Dracathor, Chris, Mikey H, Ace Trainer OP, Incorrect User, Mikey H, Dahooch, I should say. I can't read this week. It's too late. Brian C, Bronzy, Neil Wildybird, Lazy James, and Sumo. There are two of them that I've got in there as double ups. What have I done this week? Do you know what? It's better to shout them out twice than completely miss them, which Patreon did to us last month. So let's call that a win. Now, to our Uber tier. So, ladies and gents, we only have 4 tiers available on our Patreon, but there are 3 guys so far that decided to make their own. If you want to join them, this is how you do it. Literally, our top tier, if you subscribe up monthly to anything higher than that, you can call yourself whatever you want. I'll read it out every week. You want to change it every week? I'll change it every week, ladies and gents. We don't expect any of these or many of these, but we thought it was something fun for people that want a very customized shout-out. To Shalasta, Lord Keen, and to the Sith Lord Mazeo. Thank you to those 3 in our, Uber God, massive Lord team. We're going to have to come up with a name for this, honestly. They've forced us to create a tier, guys, and we really, really appreciate their support. It means a lot to us. So thank you to all of you. Wow, Roy. Wow.
Yes. Wow, indeed. Like you're saying, it's a legion. You might even call it a Legion of Awesome.
Would we call it that?
Yes, we would.
See, I don't have anything that looks good. I'm not going to call them like a Legion of Burgers because it makes it sound like we're like on our way to like an Eaters Anonymous meeting or something.
Legion of Chewing.
Well, Legion of Chewing, yeah, that's it. That's the people who have basically rotted out their entire mouth from a tobacco addiction. Nice. Yeah, my name's not cool to pass off on people. Yeah. Watch our Discord get flooded with just like, yeah, this is what we should call ourselves, like the Chew something or the something burgers. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I can see it. Now, Roy, obviously, much like many mobile games, we are not just for those people that have some cash in their pocket. You guys listening enough is definitely what we need. You guys talking to your friends, family, anyone who needs a bit of a giggle and a bit of a relax. We really appreciate that word of mouth as well. But for those of you that want to spend 10 seconds to help us out, there is an absolutely free of charge way that you can really, really help the show. Roy, what is that?
Yes, you can help support us absolutely free by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We've got 2 new ones this week. First from Calvin Ewing. People's Podcast. If you play MSF, this is easily the best pod. The banter between Chew and Roy is hilarious, and not only are they incredibly knowledgeable, but they're very honest and will steer all listeners in the right direction. They care more about their fan base than Foxnex, which is why this is the People's Podcast. P.S. If worse comes to worse, just go in hard on characters Chew doesn't like, and you should be on track with the best of the latest meta. That's what I'm doing. I'm going hard on.
It's not characters I don't like. It's basically when I'm just furious at Fox Next and just over their monetizing ways. I'm like, that's it. I'm not doing this. I'm not giving them my money. And then they just go, really? You're not going to do it? All right. Decision made.
Like,
next
you
legendary.
Won't now. You will in the future. Yes. And then from the Apocalyptic One, awesome podcast, the place to stay up to date and well informed on anything MSF. The 2 lads have great synergy and always provide a laugh. Forget the other so-called content creators who advise bringing Shield Trooper into DD3. These guys will provide no BS and are super helpful for any level of Strike Force player. Love the show, lads. Keep it up. Very awesome, guys. Thank you very much. And that does help us in the ratings, which gets us more listeners, which is very awesome.
Absolutely. No, it really does help. And we've actually had a few people find us recently for exactly that reason. So, and then look, maybe one day we can find some people that actually want to advertise in this channel. And that helps us get exposure as well. If we can say that we were the #1 podcast in Uzbekistan or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. So Borat says #1. What country was he from? No, that was Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan he was from.
Kazakhstan.
I knew it was one of the stands. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
All right, look, that is awesome. And do you know what, though? It's always funny when people go, this is the best Marvel Strike Force podcast out there. And that's when you go, there's only 2. It's like, I'll take it.
Because all the other ones give up. No, actually, I think isn't there 3?
One of them is technically just a video that's turned into a podcast. There's only 2 rules. There's us and then the Overachiever Gamers. Those guys are some good lads. Shout out to Vash and the boys, Chef Crondo and Ashi Pastrami. They do a general video game podcast, and then twice a month they do a Strike Force special. So, fun fact, I was talking to the boys over there the other day. Their podcast started 5 days after ours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so as of next month, both of us will have been running for 2 years. Isn't that crazy?
That's completely insane.
I know. I can't believe I only just started talking to them recently because there's so many synergies between what we've been trying to do and what they've been trying to do. So, good times, man. Good times.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, are you bringing back a golden only, or are we moving back onto everyone's favorite segment?
Now we'll go back to the regular thing.
Oh, you're not going to bring out one of the classics for the kids?
Alliance War Report. Well, I did try to motivate my new alliance with a meme. You know, why can't I hold all these things? To the but I did it for War MVP, so
Oh,
it
really?
got some laughs, and I still got MVP the next war. But then someone else finally got it this last one, Ice Cube. So awesome! Shout out to him. He's my my roommate in the war carrier, whatever you call it. So
Nice.
we did lose, unfortunately, because it was just they were super active, and they cleared us before we could clear them.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Good
it's
times.
cool. It's fun.
All right. In that case, let's roll into before that. Disclaimer first. So, ladies and gents, we are about to talk about our Red Star openings for the week, and because Red Stars are locked behind the red orbs in this game, that is a gambling mechanic. So, if you are someone who has a predilection to gambling behavior, has suffered from a gambling addiction, or if you are under the age of 18, of course, it's your choice. But I'd love it if you did skip forward about 3 minutes or so. But for everyone else, ladies and gents, Red Star Watch. What did you open this week?
I did get 4 on Domino, which was nice, and then I got 5 on Rocket, so only about a year too late on that, but
Nice.
it's a nice little boost for him.
Very good. I pulled 5 on MRG,
Oh, nice.
5 on Taskmaster,
Jeez.
2 on Domino.
Ah.
So if there was any chance of me changing my mind on buying this team, I needed to get big reds on Domino. Getting 2, I was just like, all right, I'm staying the course this time. I'm fine. So yeah, 2 reds are not going to do anything in this game. Like you can have like the ultimate war offense team. If you're trying to take down a 400k as Guardians with a 2 red star Domino, not going to happen.
Yup.
It is not going to happen.
X-Force required for next legendary, guaranteed.
X-Force! Speaking of X-Force, did you watch the just amazing video put out this week by Nox Fexed?
I did not. Nox fixed.
I mean, just wow. Just wow.
I heard there was some high-level gameplay on there. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Do you know what? It was such you know how when like someone's a genius, like they're so much of a genius that they can loop all the way back around to kind of coming across as a moron?
Yes.
Let's say that reminded me of that. It was incredible. Like, do you know what though? I'm kind of torn of how to feel about it, because I think what I'd prefer to do is to take someone completely uneducated on the game like that and put them in front of it. Like, we can make fun of it and go, man, their marketing guys must be pissed. But at the same time, I think in a way it's great, because what they did is they brought in a generic content creator for Marvel, who apparently does really, really good work. Put him up against one of the Fox Next guys and said, okay, he's going to run meta squads. You try and beat him with this team. And he did not. So, in a way, I think that's a really good way to market it, because if you can put it in the hands of someone that does not understand the game and they whoop everyone over and over and over, Roy, you know that team is just broken.
Yeah.
If it goes this way, it means it has to be played the right way. And if it's not played the right way, you're not going to get a win. Now, look, there was a lot of things like they were doing 1v1 versus PvP, so it's not necessarily representative of how they'll perform in war, blah, blah, blah. But it does confirm my initial suspicions that, yeah, if you're going to try and use this team together in things like raids or, DD3 or anything, yeah, you're going to get wrecked, son.
Yep. Well, I guess it's a good thing they didn't let that Marvel guy use Black Order, because they're just ridiculous. Like, I beat every defense I face on auto. It's dumb.
Yeah, how's your mirror matches going since they patched the Thanos passive? Like, we talked about they were making that change last week. That's in-game now. How did you find Thanos in the post-rework?
None of my matches since last week have been even close mirror matches. It's just a blowout every time.
I will say this though, like if there is anyone out there that is losing on offense, like if you are going up against the Black Order, let's say they're a little bit higher than you, or the real danger, to be honest, is a really squishy Corvus or Proxima. That's the real weakness right now, because I'm sure you already know this. What you need to do is on that first or second turn from Thanos, you need to make sure one of the enemy team drops into yellow health. It needs to drop below 50%. Because if it doesn't, it becomes a dice roll of who gets the next turn first. And if you go first, there's a very good chance you lose.
I will tell you the secret to who should not be squishy, and that is Maw. If there's a squishy Maw and he dies, it's over. It's like it's not even close. Especially if you're trying to run Maw in a not a full Black Order team on defense.
Oh, yeah.
If he's squishy, he just gets annihilated, and then he just does absolutely nothing. So, I mean, you really need to have him as high as you can get him, and red stars are important for his survivability. Because also it boosts up the barrier he gives when a hero controller dies, which doesn't really apply in that, but like in raids and stuff in Dark Dimension 3, it's also huge, boosting up that barrier because it stacks. At least visually, I don't. It may not all the way, but it seems to stack.
Yeah, there is a cap, but you're right. It does stack up until that cap. Exactly. But yeah, the goal is you need to get one of theirs down 50% so that their Thanos takes his second turn before your Thanos takes that second turn. Because otherwise, you're going to flip, they're going to flip. Or if you don't flip and you let him flip, either way, you're eating a lot of death. And even if you have a strong Maw, the problem is with the debuffs that he puts on himself, Roy, is that he ends up getting like a stack of bleeds. And then even with a crazy strong Maw, there's a very good chance that he's at incredibly low health and then just gets picked off by a little bit of AoE. So, yeah, it's not a good situation. So you really need to pick on whoever the squishiest member of that team is in a mirror match, and you need to drop them below 50% on that on opening combo, ideally, which is very doable because hot damn, those two are squishy. Even at decent reds and T14. I bit the bullet. I've basically gone for the in for a penny, in for the pound, Roy. So I finished Carnage to T14 this week.
Very nice.
So I was able to get him into City, and that means I'm getting close now. I reckon I'm maybe 2 or 3 days from done, finally, which is good.
Oh, very nice.
And then I only had 2 pieces to go on Corvus. So as soon as I had enough SPCs, I actually had so many of those mats that I was like, oh, might as well just finish him off then.
Yeah, he really seems to be like the least important member just because he's so slow. So he only goes once or twice in a lot of fights, which is surprising. You think as a rogue he'd be faster, but I guess they didn't think so.
And the funny thing is, in most versions of the game, and I definitely noticed this at T14, the main thing that I use him for, if I am using that squad together, is normally not for his damage anyway. It's that using that extra focus to just clear off a very important buff. Like, trying to get around a cull, for example, so I can poke at that more or something like that. And then, sometimes I'll use his special, because then I can kind of jump around behind a taunt and poke that more to death or something. But I was really surprised by just how little I actually use his ultimate, which you'd think would have been the go-to ability every time.
It's just because he's so slow. With Thanos taking 2-3 turns before he does. So.
Yeah, I kind of wish that there was a mechanic with like, when you have obviously Cull Obsidian, when you have more Thanos get hit, he goes on a bit of a defensive train. I actually think it would have been incredibly good so that you could use those other 2 characters elsewhere as well to have it so that they synergize. So if you hit like the husband, then the wife would come in. I thought that would have been a really cool mechanic that they haven't really done. Like they've done like, Cyclops gets real angry and stuff and gets offense up when Jean does.
It does the hilarious scream. Ah!
Yeah. Now, speaking of hilarious screams, you know how, like, when you go sometimes to, like, a train station or something, that you have a guy just like, hey, man, take my mixtape. Like, I'm an upcoming rapper. I really want you to hear what I put my work into, man. I need you to hear my music.
Yeah.
Apparently, that guy joined Fox Next this week. And they're like,
oh, no.
hey, man, we know that you all muted our music and our sounds because they get really repetitive and irritating. We get it, man. But you know what? I'm going to make you listen. Right? So this is probably my favorite bug because it makes no sense. Like, I don't know why anyone was playing with this. So what happens for a lot of people, especially on Apple, is that even if you muted the music in the gameplay, it doesn't matter. At the start of every Blitz match for me and raids, it worked, but not for Arena for some reason. It turned all the music and the sounds back on, which actually happened to me. I think I just finished editing the show last week, Roy. I went to bed, didn't know about this. It's like 12:30 in the morning or something. And I thought, all right, I'll knock out my first couple of things of the day before I go to sleep. And yeah, come screaming out of my phone, woke up my kid. I'm like, thanks, Fox Next. Yet another reason to hate you clowns.
Yeah, it was happening on BlueStacks too. So
yeah, I noticed that too.
Nice little bug.
Who was playing with the sound files though? I reckon it's like one really disgruntled sound guy that spent like months going, man, people might hate the guys at Fox Next, but they're gonna love my music. You know what I mean? There's this one guy, and then it's like, yeah, like the last survey's probably come back in. It's just like, out of 1 to 10, what do you think of the music? Everyone's like, I don't know, man. I can't remember. I've had it on mute for 2 years. That's it. He just comes into work that day with a gun. It's like, all right, everyone, hands in the air. This is what you're gonna code. You're gonna code it now. All right.
Or is Decimal Point Jeff going in and messing some stuff up?
It's just DJ in that sense. Not he's dropped the P. He's just now DJ Jeff. He got inspired by DJ Jazzy Jeff, and he's just like, man, it's happening.
Yes.
All right. I mean, maybe they're the same Jeff. Maybe that's what he does now. Since like the Fresh Prince went on to become an actor, he's like, well, what do I do now?
Could be.
I doubt it. Now, last week, I went on a bit of a tear about Arena and it plays hard. That's not actually what it was, but that's how some people read it. So, what was interesting, though, man, I had so many PMs with screenshots of people's Arena shards. The level of collusion is amazing. So, on one alliance, all of them created fresh characters together, and the top 24 spots is all one alliance.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh. I don't know how they organized it in there, but yeah, I had 3 people reach out from that shard going, dude, you think your server's bad? Look at this. And I was like, yeah, okay, you win. And it's pretty bad. And there's actually content creators in there. Like, I'm not cool with that. I need to talk to one of them basically saying, dudes, that's not a good look. Like, you guys are just locking down and screwing over everyone else from competitive things by blocking them out. So it's gross, man. It's pretty gross. Because I thought I was definitely going to get more heat than people going, I agree. But it was pretty mixed. I'd say it was 60-40.
Yeah, there have been a few people that tried that in mine, but I mean, no huge alliance thing that would completely suck.
And that's the thing, like, there's different payout windows apparently as well, so it's like, how do you know? So yeah, it's just good times, right? All right, speaking of the amazing coding skills of the people that make this game, the request that no one was asking for, but I think I know why they did it, was they did a health bar squish, Roy. Because apparently the animations team just going, do you remember that old WoW video where it's like, dots, more dots, need more dots?
Come on, more dots.
All right, okay, stop dots. Yeah, apparently like that guy was running the art department over there. He's like, look, I'm not drawing any more dots on this health bar. It's too many dots. I literally don't have any dots left. And they've gone, okay, less dots. So that's what they did. They basically went and they squished the health bars. Now, it's very hard to prove this at the moment, but a lot of us are collecting data. There is a lot of anecdotal cases of people saying, hey man, I was crushing difficulty 2 and difficulty 3 in Ultima 7 last week. Now, I'm getting punted off the planet by characters that, don't have offense up. I've got defense up, their offense down, and they're one-shotting me. What is going on? And it's not the Korath on the final node. This is happening in like the first 4 or 5 nodes of the match. In our first attempt to go really high in D3, which went very well, we were shocked. Because that was the first day where it's like, oh, something's wrong here. Because we 60%ed the week before and like a couple of hours, and we're like, should we just push this? Like, no, it's a weekend, blah, blah. Something's going on. Have you noticed this? Or are we just all tinfoil hatting it?
Yeah, that like happened, I think, on this latest difficulty 2 run. Just on the first mini-boss node, my team got wrecked. So I don't know what was going on. It was my team that I like smashed, the same team I smashed through and one-shotted the War Machine node. Mm-hmm. So something funky's going on. It looks like they screwed up the thing again, where it's like the RNG on how strong the stuff is going to be each time you launch it.
Yeah, Shield Trooper seems to be quite often one of the candidates where you're just like, you what, mate? You don't have that much DPS anywhere in this game. Where did that come from? So he seems to be a regular offender. And every Korath now in this, regardless of bug or no bug, has just become death. Like, they are just the worst, except for one variant team I've been using, which we put up on our Patreon page last week. So yeah, that's been okay, but falls off a little bit, I'd say at D5, so we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Now, it's not often, Roy, that we get to praise Fox Next recently. We want to. We really want to, because we want this game to be the best game it can be. That's why we shit on them so hard some weeks. Now, Balance mode PvP was something you and I said when we first heard about this. They got to do it. Like, wouldn't it be great if you could just take characters against each other? Doesn't matter if there's a Kraken or a whale, everyone's on the same leveling playing field.
Yep.
They did it. They put it in the game. I mean, it's all for giggles at the moment, but it does allow us to play around. It allows us to sort of test out, okay, well, if everything was considered equal, how would this go on, PvP? How would this go for Blitz? The only problem is with most game modes in this game, with the way they've done the scaling, Roy, it doesn't matter. Because you can't test against, like, D6 scaling. You can't test against, Alliance War Krakens, unless you're doing non-balanced, I suppose. There's a lot of crazy stuff. But I do like it. I do love the fact that now we do have a sandboxy option where you can do really fun tournaments. And I kind of hope they do something with it for rewards, but at the same time, I kind of hope they don't at the same time.
Right, because that'll be more time investment for the game.
Yeah, to the point where, like, if it was just kind of like tournaments every now and again, I don't think I'd bother too much. If it was something where, like, just competing every month, you still got, like, just passive rewards. Because, as a content creator, I don't want to get involved with that. Because, you're either going to finish first or dead last. Either way, people are going to hate you. So...
Yep.
So I like that. I think it's really good they do it. We sort of requested that, and we made commentary. Well, this is going to be a mode dominated by people who just have the most 6s and 7, red stars. I was only listening to one of the Krakens last night in an interview. He has more than 46 red stars. And he had like 13 7 reds or something. I was like, bro, it's not cool. It's not ideal.
Quite ridiculous, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Speaking of pretty crazy, Roy, raid season changes are happening at the moment. I think it kicks in with this season that just started. Is that right?
Yes.
Or is it soon?
I think they said it was this season in the email that they sent us.
Okay. Let's say yes. So, what is happening there, and of course it's not on any of the blog posts I'm looking at the moment, but basically what they're doing with the raid seasons is they've completely changed the scoring system so that people who are doing D3 and above, they're almost forcing people who want to stay on the leaderboards now, Roy, to have to do D3 as a minimum. Did you see the points difference?
I did not know.
It's more than double from D2 to D3. There's a massive gap. Absolutely massive gap. So, and the reason that's becoming more important, and again, this is, I think, the best thing they've done in a very long time. What has always been my main criticism about the leaderboards in this game, Roy?
It only get rewarded up to the top 3.
Mm-hmm. And they just make the rich get richer. So the number 1 rewards have not been changed, and now there's going to be more tiers between number 3 and that top 1 to 2%. So there is a reason to try and finish, top 20, which is really, really cool.
4th through 100th place now.
4th through 100th, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the mail.
Okay, is there anything else in there, or just that one?
Increased T4 ability materials rewards for all ranks, rank 1 unchanged, and the new ranking structure you're talking about.
So the funny thing is it's not that much different, is it? Because I think we were working it out for a while there. It was something like the top 140 to 160 alliances normally get top 1 to 2% anyway. Is it significantly more rewards? That part I haven't seen.
Well, we can just go through the things real quick. Rank 1, 400, 2, 300, 3, 250, 4 to 10, 220, 11 to 100 gets 200.
Ooh, that's a decent change, man.
And then top 1%, 180, 160 for 2%, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
So actually they broke that up, because then it used to be, was it always just 1% and then 2% was separate? Or was
I think it was 1 to 2.
No, it was 1 to 2%.
1 to 2, yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, that's great. I mean, I'm 100% on board with that. I think, breaking that up so there is tiers of rewards, and, by increasing those rewards for some of those higher ones as well, I think it helps a lot of people. I mean, you're never going to catch up, so to speak, but it definitely helps people who want to put in the time and energy into raids because they don't play other Blitz. I was going to say other modes, hint, hint, Blitz, but I got ahead of myself. Yep. It's late here this week, so I'm not at my clever best. Let's put it that way. Like that sentence, for example, was terrible.
Yes.
All right. Now, the domino event has gone live in the game. Now, mate, you must have struggled getting through that. Like, the difficulty was... whew.
Yeah, I mean, I barely got through it.
Yeah.
I smashed through everything. I did see a lot of people were having trouble on the third node, I guess, if their teams weren't strong enough.
Oh, was that the one where they had that operative that, like, died no matter what you did? Yeah, that was strange, because I was like, dude, am I going to fail this without getting a turn? This sucks.
Yeah, so you had to have someone that was fast and powerful to overcome that.
Yeah, what did you think of the event itself? Like, storyline or, any particular nodes that jumped out at you?
No, it's just all ran together in my mind. I just blew through everything pretty much these days.
Yeah, it made me kind of think about, like, the original Deadpool event way back in the day. Like, that actually had a lot of fun writing in it. And when I saw Deadpool popping up, I was like, okay, maybe they're going to revisit a lot of that. It didn't have that kind of magic. Like, I don't know who writes these things recently, but, whoever it was that was trying to inject a little bit of humor back in the day must have left a while back, I reckon.
Or their soul was destroyed and they just gave up.
Yeah, it's currently sitting in a Horcrux in Cerebro's office. Yeah.
I will say the animations are top notch.
Oh,
like the one Domino throws the grenade to Deadpool and he kicks it back to her. So once again, the animations are...
See, that's totally the thing.
Awesome.
Like, with the exception of a handful of characters, like, those guys knock it out of the park, man. They always have. And I know there's 2 questions this week on exactly that topic. Mainly, I think, by the flash screen that we're on right now, which is like... Let's have a quick count here. There's 4 different shots on the splash screen alone of Domino's booty, which has reignited the eternal debate of who has the greatest butt in Marvel Strike Force. And I was devastated to find out that I wasn't on the list. So yeah, that's a fun question I saw coming up towards the end of the show. So look, it was a pretty easy event for, I think, endgame players. I can kind of see a couple of nodes where just the way it was coded, it was like, yeah, it definitely feels like it's supposed to hurt some newer players, which didn't make any sense. When campaigns are supposed to be the free to play newer players oasis, like that's where you get the stuff, and then the rest of it you catch up on later. 9 months later when it's available in games. So that was interesting. How's your luck gone on the orbs so far?
Absolutely atrocious.
Oh, yeah? So Lady Luck is not working for you this time?
Yes, all my luck is in red stars, and I'm fine with it.
True. Yeah, mine's always in gold. So, yeah, which is not a bad thing, I suppose, to have in this game, but I'd trade it for good red stars, like in a heartbeat.
Yep.
So, have you unlocked it yet?
Yeah, it took like three, almost maybe 4 days to unlock her, and I've been like refreshing the 450 core things, and still just the drops have been so bad. Of course, no good characters have been dropping in the middle. It's all trash. I already have it 7. I finally got her in the middle. It was only a 5, so yeah, it's been bad. It's gonna be a stretch to even get her to 4, which sucks.
Because who do you need there in that orb? Just her and Sinister, I imagine. You wouldn't be needing anyone else, would you?
I think there's a few more. Toad.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't need Toad, but it'd be nice to get him.
True.
I wish Blob was in there.
Yeah, right. I didn't realize Toad was in there. That is how often I don't look at him.
Well, yeah, because I saw people say, like, this is the best event orb in a long time. So
really?
Okay, let me look at it. So, yeah, it's got, Crystal, so that cuts down that farm.
That's true.
Heimdall cuts down on that farm. Hela cuts down on that farm. Sinister, and then Toad.
Because out of the people that are in the game right now, like, who do you have left to go that's farmable? Like, who are you farming right now?
Crystal, Heimdall, Hela, Sinister, Toad. So I need all of those still.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
Toad's not farmable yet, though, is he?
No. Well,
I was going to say,
orbs,
what did I miss?
He's Fox next
farmable. Oh my god. So sinister after the announcement last week.
Yep. Yeah, that's a huge. You don't have the notes with it. Oh yeah, he's actually not in the store. Maybe sometime this week.
So
Like,
This is great. So for those people who don't know what I'm talking about, so Mr. Sinister was basically all over the blog post last week. They were going, "This is amazing. He's going to be in the game. He's going to be Farmball now." And they said Farmball is in the War Store, which anyone who's still trying to get through DD3 knows that is the worst case scenario, or trying to get Black Bolt for that matter. So, obviously a lot of people wrote in and just sort of said, hey, I'm not really seeing Sinister in there. And the screenshots were pretty consistent from customer service during the week and pretty great. It just basically said, yeah, you don't want to believe what those guys say on the website, man. If it's not an in-game mail, it's not in the game. It's like, oh, really? You're going to do those boys like that? I mean, accurate. Like, I'd trust in-game mails over that. Although we have been led astray there twice in the last 3 months as well, but in-game being wrong.
So it's pretty much another layer of RNG. It's like...
yeah. Which customer service representative wrote it today? That's another layer of RNG.
And can we trust the blog post? Can we trust the in-game mails?
Right.
You feeling lucky?
That's it. So speaking of things opening or working towards this week, did you go hard on Ironheart?
I did not.
Did not?
I just did like a bit over milestones just so we could hit World Warrior milestones. Mm-hmm. So it's like 1.6 or something. I only got 11 to 25, but I'll take that.
Now, we need to talk about this Blitz. We need to. Let's have a look at the top 5, shall we? Top 5.
Look.
Top 5, 66 million. Number 4, 71 million. Number 3, 72 million. Number 2, 75 million. Number 1, 121 million. 121 million. Like, what is that?
You won it.
I don't even understand how. Like, even if this guy was a bot, and I'm not saying he is, because Commander North is a Pants of Hulk, Platinum Alliance, nothing would surprise me with these guys in terms of him having just Jesus level of teams. Even with that, if you had a bot and paid money, I still don't understand the maths on 121 million. If you are Commander North or know that guy, you can tell me. I won't tell a soul on this planet if you want. But I would love to know, what did it take? Like, and was it worth it? Like, surely when you're on your deathbed and you're like counting down your top 5 regrets. Like, for me, spending that much time and money on getting that spot would have to come up. That's crazy.
Yeah, his TCP is 10.8 million, 126 characters at max star rank, 58 war MVPs. So and he's at the top in his arena. So yeah, he's pretty.
Because how many rotations would you get in 3 days? Let's work it out from a baseline. So if you had what was it? It's every 2 hours, right? So 12 rotations a day. Let's say that's 36. And then what are we assuming? Every one of his teams is probably pulling about 120k or 140k. What would it be at max? Something. A max team at 7 Reds. Let's say on average he's got about 120k. And he's doing what? 36 base rotations of that? That gets him to... Yeah, nothing about this.
That's with no sleep at all.
Yeah. And that's, obviously then you've got like the free energy every day. Then there's the purchased energy. But I do not understand that. Like, if you have a look at the guys around him who are also in pants and Baby Yoda and all that sort of stuff... all those max guys are between sort of 60 and 70. Like, there's a lot of consistency with those really, really, really big guys about the same. To then, nearly double the guy in 5th place. What did it take? What did it cost? Everything. Wow. That's it. Someone's got a soul stone now, for sure. Yes. That's mental to me, man. I don't understand. I really don't. But Blitz, good times. So I got my 25 shards from doing nothing and walked away into the night. Unlocked Ironheart. Thanks for coming. I'll see you in 9 months.
You want to hear something really hilarious?
What's that?
I am higher than him in strongest team power.
Oh, because you're 7 Reds. Because you've got 5?
I have 4, but only 2 of them are maxed out.
So
one is Blob,
right,
and one is Boomer. So
this might be the guy I was hearing about recently. I was on a Discord. I missed the start of the conversation, but someone was talking about a guy who has he's easily the biggest spender in the game by far, but only has 3 7 red stars or something. So I wonder if it's that dude. Who knows? It's all speculation at this point.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about unity, Roy. Unity, the coming together of the peoples. That's what the world is definitely all about right now. There's definitely no division out there.
Absolutely.
So the Unity event is coming, or the All Together Now event, which is going to be the Negasonic Milestones event coming very shortly. So by opening her orbs, by doing some login calendars, by doing some blitz, it sounds like there's going to be a combination of a lot of things. It sounds like we're about to get a lot of free America Chavez shards as well.
Now, is it truly shortly, or is it Sinister in War Store shortly?
Well, what have we got coming up? So we've got to wait till at least the end of this campaign event, I would imagine, unless they're overlapping. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, but I think we're going to have her overlapping with Symbiote Spidey's return as well. Because didn't he get delayed a month, and he's due middle of this month as well?
Yeah, they're really stretching that out, that last one for him, and then putting him in Milestone Orbs after. We're going to milk this a little longer. We'll throw some more offers out for him. Make some more money off of him.
He's bloody good, though. I will say that. So how close are you on
immediately.
A. Chavez? Are you close?
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty close to 7-starring her once this monthly calendar ends.
Yeah, we don't know how many shards are in there yet, do we?
Well, no, it's the monthly calendar. I don't think there's a bonus one.
Yeah, right. I'm just trying to think of what it would be. It's because I've got my current farm at the moment for farmable characters that I don't have at 7 yellows or 7 yellow ready right now is Karnak, Elsa, Ghost Rider, Chavez, Strife. That's it. So I'm thinking about stopping her from my daily farm because I only need 27 shards and she's done. So I think a calendar normally takes care of that, right?
Yeah, the monthly should hit it. Plus, they're going to do, I think, a second calendar that has different Unity characters, and she'll be on one day. So,
great.
Yeah, you'll easily hit it.
So this event for Negasonic sounds very similar to the Cyclops event. So it's all going to be about blitzing your butt off, and then you're going to get orbs, and then when you open those orbs, you can basically fast track it. So if you're someone that hates blitz, but you're a spender, obviously buying those orbs is a route to get there. Not that we recommend it, but that's the way a lot of people did it last time. But I'm going to be really curious. I really hope that they leave the difficulty of finishing that event, Roy, where it has been previously, because I think it was achievable for a lot of average players.
I think the Cyclops one, to finish the full one of that one, you really had to blitz insanely much. Mm-hmm. Once you finish the other one, where you use the different characters and where you only had the orb opening one left, so you just had to get enough of those orbs by getting the fragments from each blitz, so you had to blitz thousands of times. So I hope they don't do it that bad.
Well, let's talk about the teams required, because as per usual, they split a bunch of people up. So you've got Chavez, Thanos, Symbiote Spidey, Phoenix, Cull, Proxima, Venom, Jessica Jones, Black Panther, Rocket, Widow, Hulk, Wolverine, Iron Fist, Goblin, Captain America, Psylocke, Daredevil, Groot, Rescue, Deadpool, Iron Man, Shocker, Gamora, Yondu, Spider-Man, and of course Domino and Ironheart, because why wouldn't the most recent purchasable characters be in there?
Right. Well, what I'm going to do, I think a lot of people are going to do, you're just going to do tier 1, 4 fights, and then lose. And go back down just with those teams.
Because I can't remember with Cyclops, did they have where it was just playing with those teams got you a score and winning was higher, or was just you had to win with those teams, with those tunes?
You had to win with those.
Had to win. Yeah, I remember there was one where we're deliberately losing. So yeah, there you go. And I can't remember as well, was it that if you had those characters in one team, it counted each character individually, or did they just count as you used a team that those had them in there once?
No, they count each character.
Okay.
You get points for each character.
That's good.
That's part of it.
Because it always sucks when they've got part synergies. You've got Thanos, Proxima, and Cull, and it's where's Corvus and Maul? Hacks.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's not too many fringe characters this time. I mean, Wolverine has to be in there because default, Wolverine has to be in everything in the game. That's just the way it works.
That's right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Do you know what's funny about the black and white sort of thing they've got for Domino? It's like every time I scroll past her, I think I haven't unlocked her yet. It's like, oh no, it's just her colors.
Yeah. Like Maw, I think it was Maw that's like that too. Is he's just like the gray or whatever.
Yeah, that'll be the next tag. It'll be Chemo Ward.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, now for those of you who haven't unlocked him yet, some great news coming up shortly. The Star-Lord event is coming back. Easily one of the best early game characters you can get your hands on, and the characters that unlock him are all, well, not all, but predominantly useful later on. Especially to Roy. I mean, that Ravager Boober would just carry him through.
Yeah, all the way.
Heck yes. So that's going to be great for those people. We have the Payday event returning. We have a Night Nurse Blitz. Ironheart Blitz number 2 will be coming very shortly. I mean, I wonder what's going to keep happening with the number 1 spot in here. Like, was this a guy who just came out and said, man, I'm going to ruin that guy's day who got 100 mil last time? Because if he does it again, I'm going to put 20 mil on that guy just so he thinks he's got it in the bag and then nailed it.
Was it 103 before?
Yeah, something like that. It was only just over 100.
Oh my God, 120.
Yeah, I know. So it's just like, I wonder if that continues. Like, I wonder if there's just this massive EP contest between people who, for them, the real world is basically a Monopoly board. Just go, really? Nice try, Junior. Have a look at 130 million.
Let's try 140.
That's it. I see you're 130 and I raise you. So, yeah, quality. Now,
Ridiculous.
Let's talk about new Alliance Credits Store. I mean, talk about value for money. Whew.
Yes.
It is not. My goodness. So look, I love the idea of this. Like, whenever they take a currency that eventually it's a waste and it just accumulates and you can't do anything with it. Like, obviously, once you finish Stark Tech right now, that's it. Until we get the next level cap. Not that we're trying to put that in anyone's heads, Fox Next. But until that happens, like, Stark Tech currency or Alliance currency has basically been useless. So
yeah, they're waiting until enough people use up that currency, then they'll drop it.
That's what I think too. So I only used it because I was trying to have one last crack at Domino the other day. That's the only reason I used some of it. But it's interesting. But the value on this store, it must be just for the super Krakens who must have been coring for a long time. Because it is crazy. So if you go into the War Store now, and you scroll all the way to the bottom, for 2,000 of these credits, you can get 500 normal war credits, which is not a good conversion whatsoever.
Yep.
Arguably worse is the Elite War credits at 350. And this one, I mean, it's 6,000. Like, I mean, even with the months that we've been maxed, I bought one of these. So let's say I had 42,000 of those credits up my sleeve. I could only maybe buy 6 of those, which works out to about, what, 1.5 Elite 4 orbs?
Yo.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's absolutely terrible. So I cannot recommend that anyone spends it on that. This definitely feels like Roy was kind of suggesting. It feels like a fox trap.
Yes.
It definitely feels like a fox trap because, yeah, when we go back to leveling up, it's just like, you want some Stark Tech? Here's a new offer of $49.99 for lots of Alliance credits.
Yes.
We'll see. Now, speaking of dead currencies becoming a thing, Fox Next made a little boo-boo when they made that big patch after we recorded last week, Roy, and something made its way into the game that wasn't supposed to yet in the form of the Ultima Store.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Did you get a look at it?
Gone. I did look at it. It just said it was just like a supplies, but then it said there was nothing here. Check back later.
Yeah, that's the only screenshots I could find too. I was hoping that we could get a glimpse of something that was in there. So for anyone listening right now who's got that mouse scrolling over or a thumb raised, ready to punch down and open yet another Ultimus orb for useless dupes, stop, my friends. Stop right now. Because you want to save that currency until we know what is in this store. I have no doubt in my mind the exchange rate is going to be terrible. But at least there's something we can buy there now once you've kind of maxed out most of your main characters. So I'm kind of pumped that something's coming there.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not the same guy designing that as the one that designed the War Store using the Alliance credits.
Yeah, that store is so competitive for the war stuff alone. And now you've got like 3 premium currencies locked behind what is technically a free-to-play currency, but it's with a horrible exchange rate.
Like 3,000 Ultimus fragments for 10 green ability mats.
Oh, God, maybe. It's like, well, you guys said you wanted more ability mats because you keep running out.
There you go.
Because, what's their line again? Just like, this is a resource management game, get good. Yes. I think that was the summary.
Get
good. Good time. So that's actually really good news. So I can't believe we've actually had a news article this week. First time in a while where like 4 things we've sort of said, good job, Fox. Well, depending on how they pan out. Now, skipping to the thing that I am the most worried about in this game. So for a while there, this had tightened my ring in the past. Then they put it away because it was terrible when we tested it. Needless to say, Roy, I wasn't invited back to test this time for God knows what reason.
Why is that?
So, ISO 8 is all but confirmed by people in the know behind the scenes, Roy. Mid-July.
Oh, God, that's soon.
Would you like to know the funnest fact?
Oh, no. What?
Testing hasn't been done yet.
Why does that not surprise me in the league? Well, yeah, they're going to have us test it. Duh. Free testing.
I listened to a couple of other content creators the other day interview some of the Krakens that have sort of, spilt a little bit about like testing. So apparently the testing's happening in a couple of weeks and they're in it. I don't know if the content creators have been invited. I'm assuming they have because they'd be crazy not to. But last time, like they gave, I think it was about a month, maybe 2 months to test it. And they were like, all right, so we're good to go, guys. And everyone went, no. Just no. Like, I want you to go and think about what you've done, right? Where's your naughty step, Fox next? Go find it. Go bring it. Yep. Sit down. So they were so bad last time, man. And I'm just really worried that, like, some finance numbskull's just like, we're not going to waste resources just redesigning this. Like, the people, don't forget about them. Like, forget what they think. Just spit on them and move on, right? I'm real worried they haven't changed it. And that means that whatever feedback these guys roll out, man, there's a very good chance that it's not going to fly.
I think they're going to be like, is it good enough to milk the whales? Yes, then push it out.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately that's what it's going to be. Because, I mean, it's a new currency, it's a new energy, it's going to be all those things, I imagine. If it's anything like this Galaxy of Heroes mods program, I can't see it being any different. So
you think it'll be like the Cantina was in that?
No.
So like a separate energy and then separate
or ships. Like I mean they all kind of had their separate ones, right? Yeah, so I'll have to wait and see what that becomes. Yeah. I don't know. I'm worried.
Do we
now,
know if they're gonna have RNG in it?
I can't talk much about what I saw because I was under NDA. I can only talk about what I know has been leaked into the open space. So let me say this, that you could find this with a quick Google. The feedback that they got was the original system was horrendously RNG. Like disgustingly RNG. And yeah, it was, man. It was bad. So and also time consuming, and like the amount of work that you had to put in to get like 1 or 2 like minor major upgrades, whatever. It was just not worth it. Like there was so many bad things. So yeah, unfortunately, that's what it is. That they've got a month before they roll it out. They're going to test it maybe 2 weeks before that. There's no way they delay this a second time, man. It's not going to happen. They're going to roll it out, and we just need to hope and pray that someone really listened to that feedback from the first testing, because we all told them this system will push people away.
How can designers just be so bad at their job to make something so crap that people like? It's like they can see right away that it's crap. It's like, do they just not care, or are they just there because they're not there because of merit, just because they knew the right person? Like what is it here?
Yeah, so I don't think it is that. Like the development guys and the coding guys, like I've met enough of those in my like indie chats with guys back in Australia. That those guys love what they do, and they're the most passionate guys in the team, and that's why it feels it feels bad sometimes, and I should check myself more when I do it. When I say things like these devs suck, because then a lot of the time people assume I'm talking about the coders, whereas the reality is in this game there's two major problems. One, the people that design the code for this are not there anymore, and that means these guys are running around with Simpsons duct tape, just sticking over everything. So Simpsons Band-Aids, whatever you want to call them, just patching holes. Right.
I mean the ones that design the systems, not the ones that code it in. The ones that design the systems that make the decisions. Like, we're gonna make this really RNG. We're gonna make this really crappy and long grindy. Like those people. Those are the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah. So it's the same part of my story. So those guys, they will have something that they honestly would go, I think this is going to be real fun for the game. At least I hope this is what the case is. And more of the guys I've met are like this. From companies, they want it to be fun. They want it to be loved. They want to point at something and go, "Hey, man, you know that mode that you love? I did that. That's me, right?" The problem is that they are just given directions now in all of these free-to-play gaming systems of, I don't want to see an idea on the table that we don't have the potential to just monetize within an inch of. People being incredulous at how ridiculously bad value that is. And I want you to take it to that point and dial it back by 0.001. That's just what happens now. Because they all have this story that, it's a free-to-play game. We need to monetize it somehow to make enough money to keep the game afloat. But that narrative doesn't fly when you have such a small investment, really, because the team's really small. If you think Foxnext is this monstrously big company, they're not. It's just that they'll manage to line their profits with the senior guys because they made so much money. When they say they don't have the facilities to do things, that's nonsense. They've got more than enough money on these projects. They just basically take the profits and don't reinvest. That's where it's at. Yeah, talent, it seems like it's fled this company. So, I mean, those websites, I think it's like Glassdoor or something like that. I can't remember the official name. Free plug for a company that probably doesn't exist. Where, when you're looking for a new job, especially in tech, that you can kind of jump onto a site and you go, what's the culture like? And when people leave a company, they'll sort of put a post up for the pros and the cons of what it's like working there.
Yeah.
I read Foxnext last week.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because I found that site because I was having a look at a few things and I was like, oh, this is amazing. How did I not know this technology existed? And then, of course, my first thought was, what about Foxnext? This would be amazing. So I looked up some of my most favorite and least favorite gaming companies. And yeah, the story was overwhelming the same, man. It was just there's a lot of passionate people there, but they do not get listened to by the money dudes. There's a real culture problem that is basically people pushing money above all else. It's above quality, it's above the people, and that's kind of what we see in the finished product. And it infuriates me. Actually, I'm going to save that comment for when we get into the questions, because that'll come up then.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm terrified of what ISO 8's going to be, because there's a lot of people that are close to burnout now. I think I saw 5 people today, 2 in our Patreon chat and a couple in general chat that were like, look, I'm not quitting, but I just need some time away from the game. It's and it's I feel you. And the common thread there, mate, was DD3. They're all finished twice.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what do I do now? Do I do D3 and then, or maybe I do D4 and, oh no, I got to spend a bunch of cores there. Well, D5, there's no new content as far as that goes. And that's the problem, is that they'll sort of say, okay, well, PvP is content. We just gave you content. Shut up, But it's not farmable content. It doesn't give you anything but a fun time. I think just because I've bounced off that mode a little bit. I play it, I try and get the theory crafting in my head around it, but again, I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I'm a very competitive guy, and when people are actively hunting for you just so they can post on every Discord whether they beat you, it's just not a fun space. It's not worth it, right? Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what that becomes. I'm sure they're going to do something about it. I'm predicting it'll be the Grand Arena clone from Galaxy of Heroes at some stage. All right, because the last 2 episodes have been monsters, Roy, we are bypassing a main topic this week, and we're going to roll straight into the questions because we don't want to feel like we're rushing through them. Our questions and hanging out with you guys is the things that we love the most. So this week we're going to spend more time on that. Starting off with the Patreon on-air questions, Roy, because we do start off with them every week.
Yes.
All right. Metalhead asks, of all the films and TV shows based on Marvel characters, which is your favorite and which ones you're looking forward to in the future?
I'd probably say The Punisher was my favorite TV show of them. Mm-hmm. It was really good. Films. I mean, I like the older X-Men ones.
What about number
Logan. 3? Yeah, I need to watch it again. It was just so many decisions they made. It was just like, yeah. I really liked Logan. I like the more like that where it really showed that I can't even talk. Really showed the true like berserker rage of him, which I always wanted. Where they had to like water it down for like the PG-13 stuff. So I really like Logan. So hopefully when they do Wolverine again in a movie, hopefully they pick a good actor. It's a high bar now, and then make it more visceral and R-rated like Logan was.
Definitely. So, I mean, Logan was one of my favorite ones to watch, but I don't think it's one of those ones I'm going to watch over and over. Like, whereas the original Iron Man for me, that started off this whole MCU thing, that's a movie that if I just want to chill, turn my brain off, it's basically the comfort food for me. Like, it's just I'm going to sit down on the couch, I'm going to enjoy it while I'm doing something on my phone, right? And it's just as good every other time I watch it.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's my favorite. Of the TV shows, mine was Daredevil for sure.
All of the seasons or just the first? Or
good question. I did like all of them. The last one wasn't that great. I mean, look, let's face it. I think everyone's going to agree on the fact it's definitely not Iron Fist. That much I can tell you with
Jessica Jones. I don't even think I watched the last season of Jessica Jones.
See, I like Jessica Jones because it's a very noirish detective show. Like it's not a superhero show. It's more of a detective noir. So the first season I loved because David Tennant is one of my favorite actors. So when I heard he was going to be the Purple Man, I was like, dude, I'm in. Right. So yeah. I really liked Jessica Jones season 1, but I didn't hate the sequel either. So. Luke Cage was interesting as well. Look, I liked most of those. Iron Fist was the only one that I was like, I did martial arts for about 8 seconds as a kid, right? And then already I go, this guy is the greatest martial artist on the planet Earth. Okay, I'm out. Like, there is a guy who can literally make a portal through a wall. That was more believable than believing that this dude was the greatest martial artist in the universe. 100%.
Yeah, not the best casting choice. It looked like it could have got interesting in the next season if they would have done it, but of course, they canceled all that. And Luke Cage, I like the first season, but the second season, not as much.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I like where they set up the ending of Luke Cage season 1. I was like, dude, this is going to go to a great place. And then, they just kind of back down pretty hard. All right, Honeycombs, with all the additions and bad changes to the game so far, what do you still want to see added or improved? That is a long list, my brother.
ISO 8. Can't wait.
I don't want a Red Star store. I just want to be able to update directly from the screen. It's definitely not ISO 8. Blitz
Auto
needs
Blitz?
the auto. Yeah, exactly. The auto Blitz. Like that was like in a blog post in February? As it will be here, I think, April. Like, at this point, with the timeframes that we're committed to at the end of the fix MSF movement, we failed. Yeah. We absolutely failed. Like, the Red Star rework was worse and left. And, everything else that was in there really has not come to pass. It's either been watered down or, we're working on it. One day. Yeah, not ideal. They're probably the main two I want at the moment. I mean, the more I spend in Arena recently, it's like, I would love that to be reworked as well, a little bit. Yeah.
It will never do it.
Bloodwalker. Which character would you rather see in the game? Trevor Slattery, which was Iron Man, the Mandarin from Iron Man 3, or Peter from Deadpool 2?
I'll go with Peter.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a Kingsley fan. I think he'd be really fun to have in the game. But, like, just having the most average of average Joes in there, and, like, I reckon just giving him, like, really dad-themed superpowers would be amazing. Like, just kind of, like, telling, horrendous dad jokes so, like, someone gets dazed or stunned or something. All right, Spartan 34, if you could choose 3 restaurants to dine in or fast food to eat from the rest of your life, what would they be?
So only of those 3?
By the sounds of it, yeah.
Well, fast food, gotta go with Hungry Howie's, Taco Bell, and then for the third one, we'll make it like a really nice restaurant, like a Chef Ramsay, Gordon Ramsay restaurant.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me it'd have to be a pizza place. There's one place here that's incredible, actually. Like, they've got sort of a good range of pizzas called Freedom Pizza in Dubai, which is pretty good. I'd have to say it'd be like fast food. I'd say the Australian chain GYG would probably be my go-to, which is like a Mexican sort of takeout place, which is really, really nice and consistent. Okay. As far as like a restaurant-y type one, I mean, if you have to eat there for the rest of your life, you kind of want options. So it might be something like, there was a place called like Ribbits in my hometown, where you go there and basically the basis of your meal was, you book a window of time, and it's how many ribs can you put away while you're there.
Wow.
Yeah. Actually, no, either that or a place called Ashmore's, which is, when you go there, it's one of those places that never really got out of the 80s. Like, it still has, like, all the really, like, tacky, like, plastic plants instead of real plants. They've got, like, different flags, nationalities stuck to the roof. But this place, man, like, when you go there, like, you look at the meal pricing and you go, it's a bit pricey. But, like, they have, like, Moreton Bay bugs, which are kind of like a type of lobster sort of family crustacean that are beautiful. And normally when you go to a restaurant, it might be like, $70, $80 and you get 2 of them. So by the time you scrape them out, you might as well have had, like, 2 prawns or 2 shrimps, right? Yep. Not at this place, buddy. It is a full tray for like $50, $60. It's incredible. Like, you walk out of that. No, let me take it back. You don't walk out of that place. You roll out of that place, right? It's incredibly good. Yeah, yeah. And like, there's no flair or anything. Like, they always start off everyone with like free garlic bread, and it's literally just like bread with like someone just ran a scoop of butter over it or something, like, and then they'll keep bringing it out for free until you're happy. So yeah, those places are really hard to find these days.
Yep.
All right, Hobbs, with life's important questions. Would you rather anchovies on every pizza or beetroot and pineapple on every burger? You can't remove either when you eat them. I'd take the anchovies.
Neither. I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to eat either.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
So beetroot does something to my stomach acid. It gives me... the best way to describe it is burning hiccups. Yeah, I had a PT once that before we were starting like a big sort of fitness challenge said, all right, man, I want you to do a cleanse, man. And I'm like, first of all, we're men. We don't do cleanses. And he's like, no. And he goes, like, there's all this veggies and whatnot. And I'm like, 2 days in, man. And honestly, I couldn't sleep because I felt like I was like vomiting just acid. Like, it was insane. And we couldn't understand what it was. So like, we stopped it. And like, the second I ate like meat, it was perfect. And then like, it's all right, I want to try a cleanse again. And then like, he changed it a bit. There was no beetroot and no carrot. And then it was fine. Put a bit of carrot back in. And it was fine. Put a beetroot in. And then just, hiccups of doom. So, yeah. In other words, F beetroot. As an Australian, that's blasphemy. But yeah, those dudes put beetroot on way too much. Piker, I feel like I know that name.
Yeah.
He says, of all the games you gamers have gamed, what game do you wish you could go back and play for the first time? This is a great question. I was watching a podcast yesterday, and someone was saying they'd never played a game before, and he was just playing it now. And when he said it, I actually said this comment. I said, man, you are so lucky. I wish I could go back in time and play that for the first time. And Last of Us is definitely one of those games. Yeah.
I haven't even played it.
Man, well, there you go.
I do not have the PlayStation.
You have an opportunity. So, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe WoW. Just to play it for the first time. Just it was so nice. I mean, EverQuest just so grindy back then. I mean, a lot of good memories from it, but the grind. You lose like days, if not weeks of progress if you die one time.
Mm-hmm.
Just insane things that would never fly these days. But it really was like the first game of its kind I had played. It was just like mind blowing. It's like, well, a whole world, all these people and all these places and secrets to go. This is before like the internet was huge, so it's like you couldn't find out every little secret about a game right away. So like there are all these like legends about there's some massive sea monster in the ocean, all kinds of stuff. So I don't know, maybe one of those.
Yeah, I can't think of many other games, just because like so many of the ones where like I've just been blown away by the story and the depth of the story, it's been more in the recent years. Like I was really amazed by Horizon Zero Dawn. I love that game. I don't think the lore was as good this time around, but the God of War game is pretty great. The new Spider-Man game is pretty great. Like they were all close to games that would like define a generation, really. But they just sort of missed a couple of those beats where, you know. But Last of Us would definitely have to be one of those games.
I'll go a little old school too. Maybe Max Payne.
Oh, really? I remember that there was like a Matrix ripoff of that game, and I way more enjoyed that than Max Payne. Did you ever play that game?
What was the one you're talking about?
I can't remember the name of it. It was set in the Matrix universe, and they were trying to do this like co-marketing campaign when Matrix Reloaded came out. So to get the full story of what happened, you had to watch Matrix Reloaded, you had to play this video game, which I'm pretty sure I played on the original Xbox, and you had to watch the Animatrix. Like it was those three is where you got the full story. Like there was like cutscenes that were obviously filmed as part of the movie, but they were only in the game. Like so it had like was it Halle Berry? No, not Halle Berry. What's Will Smith's wife's name?
Jada
Pinkett Smith. Yeah, I'm confident it's her. I have to go back and look. But she was in there as well as one of the characters. So yeah, it was a really really good game. I remember a lot about that.
I never
time.
played that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the story of the setting of Max Payne. I mean, I love the Matrix type of things where you could do, but I like the story of it too. So
yeah, man. All right. Chief asked the questions for £50, a Red Star orb pack with 14 orbs, or should I buy The Last of Us Part 2? Number 2. 100%. Can you please do a detailed breakdown of which offers the consumer or player better value and why? As in what offers are in the game right now? Let's have a quick look.
No, I think he means between the two.
There's really no comparison.
Which of those two offers he's kind of being a smart aleck.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like asking the question, hey, I'm having a great day. Should I continue to do that? Or should I basically slam my testicles into my desk drawer? Like, that's literally what that question is. Like, there's not even well, for some people, maybe that does make your day better. I don't know what you're into. You do you, girlfriend.
You don't want 14 dupes for £50.
I do not. They're all going to be like 2 dupes as well. All right, so in the last week, I've had 2 6 Red Star drops, Gamora and Crossbones. Remember once upon a time, we were deciding between which one of those two rounded out the arena meta? That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Both currently at
6664
L65 G1110. Is there any point in bringing them up even further, even with 6 Red Stars? No, man. Like T12, 6664, just no, not at the moment. All right, Neil Wiley asked the question, do you feel the latest number 1 score for the Ironheart Blitz would be possible without a Blitz spot, considering the guy had an 11 mil TCP? Like, I don't understand the maths of how that is possible. Like, my gut tells me this was something that was just achieved with money, right? And look, I mean, let's face it. Like, if you had enough money, you could just pay one of your many butlers to just do the blitzing for you. I mean, he's going analog, right? He's not using a bot. He's using a bottler. Boom. See what I did there? Yeah. Look, who knows, man? It doesn't seem possible, but then again, like the guy has 11 mil TCP. Like, we don't know what his rotation looks like. How many teams are there in the game right now?
I think there's right around 28, 29, something like that.
So if you had 29 teams, let's assuming they're all getting 120 apiece. So 29 times 120,000 for score. Like that's 3.5 mil a rotation. Like you times that by 36 rotations minimum over a weekend. I mean, that's 125. God. So yeah, maybe he did it legitimately. That's terrifying. Yeah, he probably just did it with money. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of assumptions there. I mean, let's not factoring in energy and, in fact, yeah. Anyway, let's say I think he did it legitimately, but I don't want to know what it cost. All right, BS Jack 87 asked, this is your dude, right? He's from Your Alliance?
Yes. Yes,
okay. Carnage to 5 reds would purely be for the second DD3 run and Ultima 7, or more to 5 reds. More is used for DD3, Arena, and Ultima 7. Argument for both, as Carnage would benefit from the reds more being a damage dealer, but he's less used. More's only benefit would be for extra survivability. I'm torn. You guys decide for me.
Well, he did not wait.
Oh, yeah?
Because he already did node 12. He finished in 4 attacks, and he did a attack for 29.48 million on node 12 with Hela, Thor, Invisible Woman, Minerva, and Ma.
Smashed.
He went with Ma.
Yeah.
That is the way.
Look, I think
that is do it.
Yeah, I think the usability factor is the important thing there. Definitely. Fritz,
Ma is amazing everywhere.
Yeah, man. Look, and it's just for survivability. Like, he doesn't really gain much from those reds. Like, in saying that, though, his bleeds are all right. Like, I've seen his bleeds do, like, some reasonable damage. So he's got some scaling, but it's mainly about survivability. If anyone using an arena, you kind of want 5 reds at least. All right, Fritz the Train. So this is where I delayed some commentary from earlier in the episode. So he asks, any reaction to Arnold having one of his Galaxy of Heroes accounts banned by Capital Games and the ensuing outrage among the game's YouTubers about how that company treats content creators? So here's the thing. I find that comment from those boys specifically, personally, hilarious. Okay? Because the way that they talk in Strikeforce is that we need to treat this developer with kid gloves with all that they do for us as a community and as content creators, and we should count ourselves lucky for having them. To then, when they didn't get their way, to just go, completely mental. There's a hypocrisy there that I've personally seen that I don't love. Now, I'm going to go way out of my way here and say I am not talking about Mobile Gamer. That guy is a true gentleman, and honestly, I would never say a bad word about him because I think he's a wonderful guy. But I have had interactions with the others as a result of them coming into our game, justifying that this game is amazing because those guys were mean to them, right? So already coming in, when I was like, all right, I'm going to go watch this video for thing. And I used to watch Arnold all the time, and Trevor, when I was playing Galaxy of Heroes. The reality is, I think they've overreacted by banning his account, right? But even there, I'm being generous with one statement in particular, folks. His account. It's not his account. The opening line that he says in that video, Roy, is that it's not his account that got banned. He didn't start it. He didn't buy everything for it. He took it over from another guy that left, which is against the terms and conditions of that game. It's against the terms of the conditions of this game. And then he's moaning that he's not being treated well as a content creator. He's saying that why don't I get special treatment because I'm a content creator and I do all this free marketing for them and all of that. And then he turns around saying, I don't get any special treatment. And the same breath demanding special treatment, right? And then sort of moves on to then criticize the other people that did get special treatment. So look, here's the thing. If they banned his account because he spoke poorly about them, I would say 100% what he's saying is very justified. And I'm not going to defend Capital Games because they are a bunch of notorious jackholes, right? We all know this. And I agree that they have treated the boys over there like crap, like all the way back to McMole. Like he was exposing some ways that people were really cheating in the game, that the devs weren't listening. And to bring attention to it, he made a video exposing how terrible it was. And it forced the company to shut it down. But they banned him for that. Okay. Now, yeah, so that's the thing. Like, ultimately, someone gave him an account that was Kraken level and said, here, man, I'm leaving the game. Here's my parting gift. I would have hidden that account everywhere. I wouldn't have like gone out of my way to show that account in videos or streams at all. But he kept on like putting it out there. He even gave them, he said in his video, the player ID of that account, Roy. Right? So there were so many things that like I want to feel bad for him because he seems like a really nice guy. But on this one, like if you're surprised that you got banned for breaking the terms and conditions of the game that you know better than anyone else, because as content creators, Roy, we have to know that. Because if you don't follow them, like look at everything happening on Twitch right now. Like even I had to go back through to some of my old videos. Because even if there's songs in a video game that you're playing, if you didn't get express permission from them now to use that game with that music playing in the background on Twitch, they can sue you now for money that you made during those streams. And it's in the terms and conditions that most video games from like EA or Bethesda, all these big companies, if you really read the terms and conditions, mate, streaming and YouTubing at any time they can come after us because it clearly says those games are not to be used for commercial purposes.
Yep.
But because content creators generally are doing them free marketing, that's kind of the agreement, right? Is that we give them a fair shake. When they do good things, we say good things. When they do bad things, we say bad things, but in a way they'd be happy with. Like that's the general rule of thumb. Unless they go too far, in which case you dump on them weekly like, me. So look, I think that this particular one, he's been right about a lot of things, right? But I think this one, to call to arms the entire community to get an account back that was not yours in the first place, I think there's a lot of good that he could have done for the health of that game elsewhere for that power. Yep. Yeah. At the same time, like it's not even a big deal because what he said like 2 seconds later is, well, I've got my main account, I guess. I can just rebuy all the things that I bought anyway. So yeah, I have to admit, man, like that particular situation, like I really watched it and really listened to what he said. And ultimately, the reality is this. He was playing on an account that was not his. Yes, people have been banned and unbanned for doing things that are nowhere near as egregious as what he was doing. He wasn't using it to abuse the system, but he still breached the terms and conditions. Now, I don't think they should ban him, but at the same time, he knew what those rules were. So we'll have to wait and see what they do. I can't see them backing down. I mean, this isn't the first time people have rioted. And again, Arnold comes across as a nice guy. But, I think that one I'm not 100% in agreement with, that we should all be rioting because they deleted his account as a super douche move against him specifically, because if he wasn't playing on a second account, he doesn't get banned. Yep. Right. I've been offered 2 people's accounts as they left the game. One from Cabal, one from Panzer Hulk. And I went, oh man, if anyone's going to get banned, it's going to be me. I said, because if I slip up once, man, you're going to get that account banned. And if you come back to the game, it's gone. And they're like, yeah, fair enough, man. So, yeah. All right, Matches Malone. Now that you can spend your Alliance credits in War Store, how will you prioritize what to buy with those credits? Are you saving them? By the way, I love the Lord Farquaad devsplaining voice. Can we get Donkey in the podcast somehow? I'm going to go out on a limb here and just sort of say, with the news the way it is, the last thing on planet Earth I'm about to do is an impression of Eddie Murphy. Because we all know it's going to be in the best spirit of things, but now is not the time, friends. And I love Eddie Murphy. He is one of my favorite comedians of all time, man. More raw and delirious. Good God. I heard that he was doing a stand-up special this year, and I hope coronavirus hasn't delayed that, because I love that dude. Yeah. Alliance credits in the War Store. I would, as I said earlier in the show, man, I wouldn't spend them on anything.
Yeah, it might have been still before it came out where we thought we could use them on anything in there. But yeah, with a little bit we can buy, it's not really worth it.
Absolutely. All right, Johnny Hookshank, do you guys agree with this? And he just sent a link of Casino's 4.01 tier list. Look, this would be an episode by itself, going through character by character. Let me just look in the top 2 tiers. Black Bolt is God. Captain Marvel, do you think she's still God mode?
No.
I think she slipped off a little bit. She's still a wonderful game-changing character. I guess it depends. If we're talking about like current endgame, no. But if you're talking about like last endgame, which a lot of players are still in, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Alliance War is her best thing at this point.
Yeah.
There's better
Invisible
choices
Woman's a
everywhere
god
else.
tier. I'd probably say Demi for her by his rules.
I'd say overall, she slips into there, but I mean, with Black Order dominating Arena now, maybe not as much. That kind of like blows everything else out, but she's still one of the best for Arena if you don't have full Black Order.
It just depends, right? Like, I don't think Mags is God anymore. Yeah. I mean, they've got Corvus at Demigod and saying he goes to God when he's in Black Order. I think the Black Order is a godly team, but I don't think he's a god in it. I'd probably rank him down more like Elite. Most of the other ones I'd say he's got pretty right in that category.
Scientist Supreme is not God anymore.
He's got... I mean, Iron Man's in Demigod. I can't agree with that.
Well, Scientist Supreme is not essential for raids or for Dark
Look, at the same time, though, I will say this. As a
That's-
free-to-play farmable character, I think she is god tier for that. Like, if you think about what characters are not available, like, she can now carry raids with, like, secondary teams. When you've got, like, More in Order or Yo Hobo, I mean, she's still used there. You know, Tech Wing, she's still used in. Like, a lot of people are still using her to push content. Without her, they couldn't, man. So she's a free-to-play god tier character for sure.
Well, it's still better off going more offensive because things has less hit points, but they hit harder. So, like, you have to try to wait through her whole ult and then special. Whereas you can just blow away most of the wave.
And that's kind of why Yo-Yo was always useful, because she sort of counterbalanced that with the offense down. So, yeah, it just depends. Yeah. I mean, Johnny Storm at Demigod, like, his damage is, but his survivability, God, man, it's so hard to keep that dude alive. Yeah, my Fantastic Four was perfect until I pulled 6 red stars on him. Now it's garbage in War, because Shield, I used to be able to pump Shield, like, down, up about 30k. It was perfect, because they all hit thing. But no, had to get luck on that character, didn't I? The answer is, look, for the most part, most of those lists are going to be similar. There's going to be, 10 to 15 characters we're all going to disagree on, depending on what frame you're looking at it. Because, like, some guys are going to look at it heavily from, I'm a Blitz guy. Some are going to be like, I'm a Raid guy. I'm a DD3, whatever. And whatever you're passionate about there, that's going to influence your decision for sure. So that brings down a hero to 0. Would you guys spend Stark Tech credits to get War Store currency for mini uniques, or keep the billions of Stark Tech? I mean, who's got billions? I only had like 40k. How much did you have?
I think I'm like at 60 something K.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I spent more than I thought. I thought I only bought one of those things. Don't know. Who knows? All right, Nevermore. This is more of a comment update from last week. Now, we needed to know this. We asked a very important question last week, Roy. There was a guy that had his review name as Namor, but it turns out that it was an autocorrect. His name was actually Nevermore, which is hilarious in itself. And that we asked the question of, if his name was Namor, does he have nipples? And I'm really glad to report back, folks. Nevermore has come back and confirmed he does indeed have nipples. Yeah. Yes. I love that someone's listening to this show for the very first time going, why did they ask some random dude if he has nipples?
Like, what in the hell? Like, what am I even listening to?
Right. Me Tank would love a deep dive into some of the best tunes to upgrade to 6 or 7 red stars, which would be the better option with 300 plus gold credits. Someone's been crackening. I'm assuming PvP will become more important sometime soon, looking towards that mode and arena. I would think multiple 6 red stars give you the bang for buck. In high-end modes, those 7 red stars may make the difference. Was thinking about interesting options like Ghost Rider or Killmonger. Look, this is a long conversation, and let me tell you, as someone who tried to do a guide for this recently, it's a lot harder to have that discussion than you'd think. So the guide that I did, I need to redo, because the way I did that guide is I recommended who I would spend 6 to 7 credits on as a priority and who I would spend 5 on as a priority. Now, what I tried to put on there, Roy, was a category of these characters are amazing. And look, of course they're going to do well if you have more red stars on them, but they do their job without them, right? So there was characters like Star-Lord was in there, because Star-Lord does his job 1 red star or 7 red stars, right? So yeah, that copped a lot of heat, because people were just like, why is such and such not on the top of the list? It's just like, well, because you don't need red stars on him. Yes, he's better if you have them, but they don't need them. And then, yeah, so I need to redo that list. Ultimately, that deep dive is going to be a lot longer than a single podcast would be, man. So, yeah, but if it's just who you would spend 6 red stars, spend up to 6 or 7, that list is pretty short. And it's going to involve Black Bolt and Hela every time. I would say if you're using Black Order or if you're doing any high-end raids at the moment, Thanos is definitely an option.
I'm actually going to go with Cole for my 7.
Yeah.
If they make him farmable, like, anytime soon, because I'm just using him everywhere now, and he'll be the biggest thing, because all those hits he gets, extra hits for when they hit Mars.
Yeah, we put 7 on him, and a lot of people are like, why? And we're like, just wait. You'll get it. You'll understand.
You'll see.
Yep. You'll see. We've been through this a lot, so yeah. All right, Lehu Zeher. Hey guys, always love the discussions. Who has the best butt in the game, and why is it a monstrosity? What are you talking about? I'm going to look at this right now.
It's clearly Blob.
It's
I mean,
not.
come on.
I've been saying the same name since like June 2018 or whatever the year it came out. I can't even see his butt because he's got an equip all across it. And yeah, man, that's not even a butt. He's got like a flat wall where a butt should be. Like it's a fair wall. Like, I mean, you could build a shed around it, but I mean, that's not a butt. Honestly, let's scroll down. All right, let's go right down to W because the real answer here is Wasp.
Not nope. Domino, the new contender.
Where is she? Where's Wasp? Here we go. Let me look at this. I haven't looked at this in a long time. Yeah, look at that booty. Come on, man. Go to Wasp butt right now and look at this.
We're looking at butts.
And bear in mind, like, this is a butt that's...
It's kind of flat there if you look at.
What are you talking about? Look at the position of the hamstrings versus the glutes, mate. That is a squat-driven booty. You know nothing, Jon Snow. I am king of booty, right? That is a fine booty. Look at it. And then, like, the very sort of, like, thong-shaped costume there. It's very accentuating. Got the shadowing right below the cheeks there, man. That's the finest butt in Marvel Strike Force. Well, look.
Don't I remember Star-Lord being pretty...
Well, I mean, we do have to check Captain America.
Doesn't
because,
he have some junk
that's
back
America's
in there?
ass. So where is Captain America? Does he have America's ass? Let's have a look. He's got a flat ass. He has no ass. Yeah, look. If you have his arm there, it's like almost the same direction as his leg. In fact, Cap needs to get in the gym. He's got like no quads, man. And he has like a thigh gap, like hoe level. Like that's a hell of a thigh gap. Do you know what I mean? Like Cap was like a POW in this version. He's been abused. This is not Britain.
POW.
All right. The real answer is Wasp. Fight me. Let's have a look. Psylocke's booty. Yeah, her butt's weird. She's got like a weird she's got like a weird side butt. How's Sif? She's the next one down.
I mean, it could be Elsa. She's got it covered up. Could be Elsa, but she's got it covered up, so we'll never know.
I mistake. She has her hanging out. No, it's definitely Wasp, man. And considering how old her butt is in this game, like that's been a butt that's been around for a while. I'd say it wins. I tell you what, though, a lot of the other female butts are actually all copy paste. I'm noticing that most of the last 12 months, now that I'm really analyzing this, maybe I'll rephrase it. Maybe now that I'm analyzing this, they are almost the same butt. Like, it's, yeah.
From what I can see, Hella's pretty nice. Her cape kind of gets in the way, but if you move it fast enough...
I love that this is the question we spent the most time on this week. I mean...
Yes, we spend the most time on the most important.
No, see, that's the copy-paste butt. See, if you go to Crystal's butt, right, it's the same butt. If you go to Psylocke's butt, it's the same butt. These are all copy-paste butts. Wasp has a...
we have to put that in the description
Wasp
of
has
this
a custom butt.
We talk about the copy-paste
butts. Yeah, copy-paste butts. That's it. This is 3D printed butts is what this is.
Like, what in the hell is wrong with...
Hey... What have I said before about this podcast? If people ask us questions out of pure respect for the people that listen to us, Roy, I'm going to spend considerable time making sure these people are happy with that answer. Yeah. Nightness is wearing their mama jeans, so I think she's kind of ruled herself out. Do you know what, though? Gamora is a contender. She's got a little bit of pixelation. Look, let's just leave it there. It's Wasp.
What about Nebula?
Nebula? There's a joke about hitting like a wet noodle, but I'm going to leave it. Where are we? Here we go. Nebula. No. Look at the...
Elektra's
why would you paint in a thigh gap on a character in these games? Look at it. Like, if you look at her proportions, it looks really weird on Nebula. It actually looks like she's been crutch photoshopped. I'm not even kidding. Like... if you are listening to this above the age of 18, go look at this. If you're under the age of 18, please don't tell your parents I said that.
Well, I mean, we already discussed the thing they put on rescues.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
So
Yeah, man, that was the front screen for a long time. Like, I think there was, Actually, I'm not gonna follow that train of thought. So, Goomba1618, he asked the question. Alliance mates were discussing the idea of Apocalypse possibly being the legendary character for X-Force. How do you like this idea, and who do you think his horseman should be in game? We definitely need to see Apocalypse Angel. I'd love to see a dark version of Storm. I think that'd be ace. In fact, I'd love to see there be characters in this game that only when you paired them up with Apocalypse it unlocked Phoenix type forms for all of them. That'd be sick. So Angel.
Yeah, because
sorry.
Yeah, didn't he make him into Archangel?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I think if you just had Angel in the game and then he only becomes Archangel when he's with Apocalypse, that'd be great. So Storm was one, and there was Mags, right? And Psylocke. That was at least the movie version.
Yeah, because doesn't one of the loading screen things say when a character becomes empowered, they get different stuff? So, I mean, they could add that to different characters, not just Thanos.
That could be pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, the mechanic's there-ish now. I mean, I don't know 100% how it's coded, but who knows?
Yep.
All right, very good. This is a comment, so I'm going to skip you. All right, so Bagel Tank, final question of the week. I recently saw another content creator make the argument of not worrying about starring up your toons all the way, with a few exceptions like Phoenix. Toons who take you into DD1, BB more, but to leave them at 5 stars, and then let RNG take over when you finish those toons' star levels out. Saying that, yes, they're not as good, but the time you save on farming shards and the gold you have. I mean, it depends on where you are in the game. That's 100% true. Because, for me, I take them to 7 because I got nothing left to do, right? If you're talking about new players, yeah, we all did that when we came up. This is not a new concept. You take someone to 5, you move on to the next guy. But then again, the stores are very different back then, right?
Yeah, but if it's your main arena team, you want them maxed as much as possible if you're focusing on arena and free-to-play or light spinner, because you have to. That's the only way you're going to compete. And for your main raid team, too, you want them to be as high as possible so you can help push as far as you can for your alliance. So that's something more you do with characters you don't really need immediately for something. That's the best thing to do. But if you do, there's certain ones you need to grind them out. For example, I'm doing Karnak. He's total trash, but I want to get Maw at 7 next time. So I'm refreshing his node every single day, twice. So because I'm pushing hard to get everything at 7. So this next time. So it really depends on it generally. But for characters, you don't need like America Chavez. I don't even farm her at all. I don't care when she gets to 7. But the important ones, you do need to get them there as soon as you can.
Yeah, if you want any hope of doing Ultima 7, even at difficulty 2, man, you can't get through that with 5-star characters unless we're talking legendaries. Yes, things like Yo-Yo and a lot of those kind of characters can definitely carry you a long way at lower reds, but there are some characters that without that, you are just going to, fail and fail hard. And then, again, if you take a wrong combination of characters into DD1, now you're going to have to go back and redo someone up to 6. I mean, when we started the game, Roy and I took a very different attitude to everyone back then. Everyone was listening to one content creator saying, hey man, you want to spread out all your things evenly because then you're going to get the best blitz teams. And even way back then, it was you know what, man, screw blitz, right? Raids are rewards every day that we can control. We're not competing against everyone else in the game. We're going to do that. And we've been able to spend way, way less money and compete with those guys toe-to-toe. So, or in Roy's case, spent, almost no money, #SilentKraken. But, but yeah.
That's why we always punch way above our TCP from, pretty much day one.
Because I was looking
still do it to this day.
Exactly, yeah. Because I was looking in DD1 when he made that point, because I forgot, what was the requirement? It is 6 yellow stars. And look, and by doing that, by really taking very specific characters up to 6, if you're careful about who they are. Like, I had no business being the 13th person ever to finish DD1. No business, right? But that's what happened, because everyone else was going balls to the wall on trying to farm up defenders quickly because they were the flavor of the month, whereas we all knew that there was this lurking shield team coming. And I was like, no, I'm going to go there. And I got all those minions ready to go, and that paid off major dividends, man. Yep. So I would say, look, the idea of that strategy is 100% correct when you are first starting out. Like, because you can't do the villains campaign without 5 villains, right? So you are going to need people to carry you through. So, of course, you're going to want to get 5 villains up to usable status. But, towards level 65, level 70, when you're starting to get into Ultimus 5, Ultimus 6, or maybe even Ultimus 7, 5's not going to cut it. I mean, on the same token, we should probably talk about this, because we had a lot of questions in our Discord, not on this thing here, about the discussion of Ultron this week, Roy.
Yep.
That a lot of the content creators were like, nah, you're an idiot if you take Ultron up to anything past T12. And I think for people like us, if we hit the end game now and we have 7 Black Bolts, we have 7 Hellas, sure. Since the Red rework, we do not need Ultron for most things. But in the things that you do need him for, I can tell you now, that survivability, you want it.
Yes.
Yep. If you want multiple raid teams to save on healing energy in D3 and D4, especially of Ultima 7, you have to take T14 characters for the most part. There's a handful that'll function at T13, but the resistance alone is crushing.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a top 5 character. People are just trying to push him out and act like he's useless now. But
yeah,
I mean, getting that bot train rolling is still ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. If Black Bolt wasn't in this game, I think people really underestimate how much of an impact that Black Bolt has on this game. I have so many people go, Phoenix is the best character in the game, but she's not, because you can work around her, right? Whereas what team you use is defined by whether or not they have a Black Bolt or not, right? If they have a Black Bolt, you cannot choose Ultron, who was probably the best character in the game before that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll admit his usefulness has fallen off a little bit, but I mean, the day's going to come where Red Stars come on him, man. They will scale him up somehow in the long term. He is not a terrible character to T14. There have been many people that have gone and screamed through DD3 faster than others because they did take him up to T14. I personally don't think he's necessary to do that, but we've seen him be very useful there. So, yeah. And look, in non-balanced PvP, a T14 Ultron, if they don't have a Black Bolt, it's over. Nothing stops that.
Yep.
Right? So, yeah. Look, there's a lot of theories on that, and look, in a lot of ways they're not wrong, but this is let me tell you, Roy and I were talking about this off air. As a content creator, trust me, no one understands better than us right now, with the last couple of weeks especially. It's impossible to give perfect advice to everyone. If you look at the comments of my last raid team video, one guy's like, oh, typical, this team is so overpowered, it's just going to walk through everything in the game. This is ridiculous. That's not an achievable team. And the next guy is just like, bro, seriously, why are you even running that? This is useless advice to me. If it's not showing me what I can do on difficulty 5, I'm not even going to watch it. You're like, how do I cater to this? I either need to show the lowest free-to-play denominator, or I need to show the ultimate Kraken. There is no pleasing everyone. There is no right answer for everyone. And once upon a time, this is why Roy and I did roster reviews. But the problem is we cared too much. We didn't believe in generic advice. We went through everyone's freaking roster for hours every week going, well, this has changed. You want to do this, that scales. There's a new difficulty in raid, so prioritize this. All right, I'll see you next week. But we had to drop it because we just don't do generic advice. For the podcast, we do as much as we can, but it's impossible to know, what your account is versus mine.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. All the joys. But hey, keeps it interesting, right?
Oh, God. Steve, I couldn't hold it off.
I was going to say, what is that? We asked the last question.
I was trying to hold it off, but it was...
You've reached
It fought
peak
through the
ecstasy
allergies, man.
over the last question. It's just like, we're finally done.
I got all of them on.
All right, folks, that is going to do it for another week of the Strikeforce Masters Launch podcast. If you have enjoyed what you've heard today, a reminder, you can go and support us over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/SFMOL. Make sure to join us up on the Discord. Check out my videos on Alternerd Reality. Follow me on Twitch or Twitter at Shoeburger84. Otherwise, Roy, take us on out of here.
Yes, I'm Big Raw Awesome on YouTube. Check me out on there. That's going to do it. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay tuned and stay awesome.